dangerous, inflammatory rhetoric is a problem?
The questions, do you want me to answer first?
So, sir, it saddens me that you refuse to express regret from comparing ICE to Nazis. ICE agents are brave Americans who get up every morning, leave their families, and put their lives in harm's way to protect our country, sir. You, at the very least, owe an apology to these dedicated public servants.
Illuminati is a thing you need to watch out for. They want to depopulate and slave us so much more. World domination, I'll get into that later. I'm hardcore, fierce and sexy. You're just a hater. You deserve the ridicule because you're an absolute zero. I'm the keeper of the chalice, a rock and roll hero. I'm not an idiot nobody listens to, because I'm not a failure in life like you. Let's talk about Bill Gates and the mark of the beast and the orgies in the streets at the Catholic feasts and Bill and Hillary's human trafficking ring. And George Soros got the money to pay for everything. Socialism is for losers, working for the devil, chumps that can't fight, they ain't on my level. It takes an evil one to try to debunk and doubt it, so I'd rather die than stop talking about it. Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out. Watch out for the Illuminati. Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out. Watch out for the Illuminati. Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out. Watch out for the Illuminati. Watch out for the Illuminati.
Let me say this for the protruding, far-headed people that just don't get it. You don't have to be MAGA. I personally think it's rather stupid to try to separate yourself from MAGA as much as you can. But you're free to do that if you want and be a softie like Mike Sapercone and lose a senatorial election. But if you're blatantly anti-MAGA and go out of your way to say you're a never Trumper, not only are you sabotaging your political career if you so choose to seek one, but it tells me you're either a soft Republican, a soft, boring, bland, plain vanilla malted Republican, a plain slice of white bread Republican, or a far left fanatical liberal. And both are bad for the country. Both are a detriment to the country. Both do not look out for the best interest of America. Because MAGA stands for Make America Great Again. Not some foreign land. MAGA is not MEGA, if you know what I mean. And so, as I was saying, you have fanatics like Tim Walz speaking out against ICE agents, and only these weird far-left liberals would speak against ICE and call ICE the Gestapo. You can't, if you claim to be right-leaning or conservative or Republican, and you compare ICE to the Gestapo, there's something wrong with you. You're not right-leaning at all. You're actually left of center and an enemy of America and an enemy of all it means to being human and having human compassion. Because these people you label the Gestapo are that thin line between order and chaos. They're that thin line between our streets being safe and our streets being deadly and dangerous. And you can't be a soft Republican. You can't be one of those people that go against Donald Trump and then still call yourself a Republican. Shame on you if you do that, put down your little elephant pin, pick up a donkey one, and join the side of the enemy. You don't care about America if you don't care about making America great again. It's that simple. And yes, deporting people that don't belong here is essential to do that. Deporting people who came here illegally. There's a legal way and an illegal way. There's the way that my grandparents came to this country and the illegal way. You know, I used to work in New York City Transit, and there was a CTA named Torres, female CTA. CTA stands for Cleaner of Transit Authority Property. And she came from Mexico, and she spoke very highly against people who just hop the border and seek employment. And basically, she said, in very broken English, she pretty much said, if I could do it, I could come in here, put in all the work, fill out all the paperwork, learn English, and come here and learn how to talk to people and mix in with everybody. That's how she said it. Basically, she meant learn to adapt to the culture and all. Then so could they. And she even said she's from the same country as these people. She was Mexican, and she's from the same country as these people. And if she could do it, they could do it. And so you have naturalized American citizens who came from Mexico who are against coming into the country illegally. Either you're born here or you're naturalized here. You can't just show up and suddenly you're one of us. Because there are countries for a reason. There are separate countries. There's a sovereignty of nations for a reason. And it's actually a good thing, because if it's a world with no borders, then it becomes a world with no borders, no guns, no God, and no gold, living all under one set of rules. You can't just leave the planet and just live elsewhere if you don't like the rules of a one-world totalitarian socialist government. So it's very important to be against a one-world totalitarian socialist government. It's very important to support the sovereignty of nations. And yes, if some nations have a king or a brutal dictator, and other countries have a constitutional republic like us, or a weak democracy, rip off like Canada, or what some European countries attempt to be, then so be it. And if you don't like the rules of Italy, you go to Japan. You don't like the rules of Japan, you go to Germany. You don't like the rules of Germany, you go to Argentina. You don't like the rules of Argentina, you come to the United States. And so on and so forth. There are people that didn't like the rules of the United States and went to England to live under a monarchy. And, that's their prerogative if they want to do that. But the idea is, with the sovereignty of nations, you have options of what set of rules you're willing to live under. You just let anybody pour in, and you don't have borders, you don't have national sovereignty. It's important to have national sovereignty. And in America, it's also important to have individual sovereignty, to be a sovereign human being. Because freedom doesn't come from government, it comes from God. And to deny that is to go against God and to deny God's existence. which is a blatant lack of respect for God. You gotta do things holy, and as holy as you can do things holy. See my little word plate there? WHOLEY and HOLY. Saw that? Saw what I did there? But anyway, you know what I'm talking about. So, in so many ways, liberalism is wrong. So many levels of hell where it belong the left. Crime runs rampant because of the Democrats. Because look, in these blue cities, you will see crime. Lots of crime. Often violent crime. Rape. Armed robbery. Murder. And can't be having that all the time. This is why people flee blue cities. The problem is, a lot of these people fleeing the blue cities are liberals that voted for the politicians that enabled the criminals that took siege over that blue city. And so now they can't handle what they voted for. They flee. And all of a sudden, they want to mess things up and vote for pricks and scumbags in these red cities and turn them blue. There's something wrong with that. I was never a liberal. I did cast one vote, one bad presidential vote to as a message to the Republican Party, because I believe every individual casting a vote makes a difference. And I cast my vote for that heathen Barack Obama in 2008 as a message to the party. We don't want any more Republicans like George W. Bush. We don't want people who are complicit and compliant with George W. Bush becoming the next president, which John McCain was. He could have been a hero, and he could have ran to primary out incumbent George W. Bush, and he would have gotten the votes, and it would have been Kerry versus McCain with a lame duck incumbent George W. Bush, guaranteed. People were that sick of George W. Bush. But they saw John Kerry and said, yeah, this guy I voted for last election sucks, but I'm going to have to vote for him again because look at that asshole running against him now. Because John McCain in 2004 didn't step up his game, grow a set of balls, and run against an incumbent same party president. Ted Kennedy did in 1980 against Carter. Why couldn't McCain do that in 2004 against Bush? So a lot of people were pissed off at that. They remembered that 4 years later, and they voted for Obama. Longtime Republicans like myself. Hell, that was actually the 20-year anniversary of me registering to become a Republican. And yes, I wasted that vote on Barack Obama, regretfully, but look at who the opponent was. Somebody complicit and compliant with George W. Bush. And I wasn't about to allow for that. I figured, well, if he sucks, you vote against him 4 years later, which I did. I voted against Barack Obama in 2012. Did not vote for Romney. I voted for Johnson. And Obama got his second term, probably as a result of that. probably as a result of Romney not getting enough votes. But, I knew I didn't want Romney to become president either. So we didn't have much of a choice. We didn't have much of a choice in 2004, 2008, or 2012. But the following 3 times I voted for Trump. Trump ran for president 3 times. He's 2-1 with presidential victories. And that one, you could put an asterisk next to it because 2020 was not a free and fair election. And there's proof of that. Mike Lindell furnished the proof of that. And you're going to see Maduro's going to be singing like a canary because a lot of those voting machines were Venezuelan. And they went right back to Venezuela after the election. It was a very sick and twisted plot for a coup. The real heist and seizure of our republic was not January 6th, 2021. It was November 3rd, 2020. And you know that. But here we are. Another lesson in life. Democrats are a detriment to society. They need to be stopped at all costs, even if it means there'll be casualties. It's well worth it for the freedom of every American and what it means to being human, to being a compassionate human being in the United States of America, land of the free, home of the brave. Respect God. Watch out for the Illuminati. Like, follow, share, comment, subscribe. Stay strong. Keep kicking that slang. It's your boy in the building, hip-hop legend, recording engineer, underground rock and roll hero, your hardcore, fierce, and sexy host that is never gross, MC Too Tall. And my music is so good, you should be groveling like peasants. Take care now.